What is up, everybody? My name is the bad guy, Matt, here smoking with my good buddy and pal, the man, the myth, the Moise, here to
I
talk
really
about
love that nickname.
talking about some wrestling. We're going to go over Smackdown and NXT here on the Ringside Hookah podcast. We have some fun stuff to talk about, and even some future plans that I think we'll get into towards the end of the show as well. So, without further,
We got a lot of stuff coming.
we do. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I think we should jump right into it. Do we want to talk about the show just a tiny bit, just to give some people some information about what we're kind of aiming to do with this whole thing?
Yeah, we're two marks that talk wrestling and smoke hookah.
Yeah.
I'm smoking a mix of Trifecta Peach and Alfacama grapefruit iced tea today. And Matt, what are you smoking, bro?
I'm smoking grapefruit mint from Ugly and black orange from KM Tobacco. So we have
Very
kind
underrated flavor, the black orange.
Oh, so good. It's so tasty. It has a very good citrusy orange taste, almost like an orange soda. And then there's like a tiny bit of mint to it too. So like this is a really nice minty taste to me, especially on like a nice hot day. It's a very, very pleasant mix that I'm smoking right now.
KM Tobacco kind of underrated, man.
I've only ever had this one flavor. I don't have a lot to go off of. I know that there's some hits and there's some misses, so that's all I know.
Their Cactus Lime is awesome.
Oh, really? Cactus Lime from Black Lava is really good as well, so I'd love to try that out. So if
Black Lava still around, I want to try that out too, because I don't know what's going on with Black Lava.
I have no idea what is going on with Black Lava. But we're not here to talk about tobacco. We're here to talk about professional wrestling, men and women that like to parade in their underwear and wrestle one another. And we're going to start off the show by talking about the most recent week in Smackdown, and then we're also going to be talking about NXT, and then we'll end the show off with some other stuff as well. But you are the one that watched Smackdown, so I'm going to let you go ahead and take over, and we'll bounce some stuff off of one another. So, Moise, how was Smackdown this week?
Smackdown was a really good show. I like it a lot better than Raw because I can actually watch it in one sitting without pulling my hair out. Before SmackDown started, there was an announcement that Shinsuke got bit by a police dog, which crazy, right? You want to talk about crazy sports injuries?
Yeah.
Apparently, from what I read, they had a report that there was maybe like some attack about to happen on the arena or like a bomb threat or something. So they had drug dogs and bomb dogs out there, and I don't know if Shinsuke went to go pet one or the dog just bit him.
The dog was just like a complete racist, like, and the dog just attacked him just out of everybody.
The dog turned face.
Or heel. I don't know. They were trying to get the dog.
AJ Styles fan.
The dog was. Everyone just heel, dog, heel, and he's like, I am. Isn't this what I'm supposed to do? I'm going for his nuts.
And so it started off with Miz TV, and Miz's guests were Rowan and Harper. And they didn't say much. It was mostly Miz, just like, we both hate Daniel Bryan. I took him out of the gauntlet match, even though they did all the heavy work, as we saw, then Samoa Joe. And yeah, so it started off with that, and we led it to Daniel Bryan coming out. Daniel Bryan was like, I'll face either of you two guys tonight, and because they're holding off on the Miz, which I like, because that should be a SummerSlam match.
Oh, yeah.
And it was announced we're going to get Harper and Daniel Bryan in the main event. Then we get a New Day segment backstage, just typical New Day stuff with the pancakes, which we find out we are going to get as our first match Rusev and Xavier Woods. Very good match. Yes. Woods and Rusev go way back. They're always tweeting one another, up, down, down, everything, you know. You can tell that these two have... I'm pretty sure these two are really close in real life, too, just from all the crap they talk to each other on Twitter, and we've seen them play FIFA on up, down, down, you know, so great match. Really made Rusev look strong. Rusev stomps and pins him with makes him tap out to the Accolade.
The Accolade has become a move that I've actually started to enjoy. You know, submission moves sometimes are hard to get over because they're like a rest hold, so like sometimes they can be kind of boring or monotonous, but like I loved what he did at Money in the Bank, trying to get the 3 guys in the Accolade, and then also, you know, when he got the 2, I thought that was a great moment and stuff. But like, it's really, and Rusev Day has really made him so over that like when he's going for that Accolade now, the fans really get behind him. Like Rusev has really made that jump into the next level, and we just have to hope that he can really get some sort of push from it now.
He's getting the title match at Extreme Rules, which I'm pretty sure we both think AJ's going to win.
Yeah, there's no
But
reason to give him the title.
AJ will make Rusev look great. We know this.
Yes.
Rusev will make AJ look great too. AJ doesn't need help with that, but
yeah, it's going to be a very good match.
Aiden English is killing it as always on the mic before the match and after the match, saying AJ's going to lose the title on Rusev Day, and then we see Jeff Hardy backstage, and they announced that Shinsuke got injured, and it's going to be a Jeff Hardy Open Challenge.
Now we're sure that the Shinsuke Nakamura is not some sort of work, right? Like he didn't get like in trouble or anything. He legitimately got bit.
There were police reports, actual police reports saying that they were in the wrong, and the police never do that.
Yeah, they're never in the wrong.
So they're never in the wrong, right? So we get back from it, and Jeff Hardy gets a crazy pop, and it was weird because Jeff Hardy came out, they went to commercial, they come back from commercial, and Naomi and Lana are backstage.
Yeah, this was a weird segment. This is just stupid.
Yeah, and the cast of Glow comes out, which Glow's a great show. I don't know if you watched the first season. I really enjoyed it.
No, I never saw it. I did want to, but I never did check it out.
It's very short seasons. I believe it was 10 episodes, but I enjoyed it a lot. Allison Bree's Miss Marvel coming up, so she knows her stuff. And Naomi and Lana are like kind of teasing that they're going to become friends, which is kind of interesting to me because Becky, in an interview last week, Becky Lynch said she proposed women tag titles. We get those,
that's the rumor that I think is going around real strong, and something that kind of gives weight to that is the fact that SmackDown is going to be moving to Fox in the coming future, and it's going to be pushed as the main show, and Raw is going to be pushed as a secondary show. So I could see them pushing some sort of new title, and a new title for the women's division would be a really cool thing.
We don't need two sets of women's titles, right? We only need one.
We don't, but knowing how WWE likes to operate, I think we would have to see two of them. We're only going to see one of them matter, though, and that's going to be the SmackDown one. That's going to be the one that actually matters.
Yeah, and I think Naomi is someone great to put Lana with, just because Lana's over, Naomi's over. Lana's not that great in the ring. Naomi's one of the most athletic females we've seen in a long, long time.
Fantastic.
Like fantasy booking, like Lita and Naomi in their prime. Oh my God,
that'd been great.
Yeah. So back to Jeff Hardy. It goes back to Jeff Hardy because I don't know what they're doing with the camera work right now. And the lights go out and Sanity comes out, but we don't know which member is going to be. It ends up being Eric Young.
Yes. This was an interesting way to book their first match.
Very hard-hitting match, too. Eric Young's got a great mind for the business.
Yes.
People want to get behind him, but he makes himself so hateable. He does the thing where he goes in the corner and gets him in the guillotine like a noose. That's pretty cool, to get the heat from the crowd. Eventually, the two other members, Alexander Wolf and what's his name, Killian Dane, come in. The Usos come in to make the save because they had a match with Sanity that never started last week, and we get a 6-man match: Sanity and the Usos Sanity versus the Usos and Jeff Hardy. Awesome match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very good. So here's my question though: so Sanity loses, Eric Young gets pinned. Did this hurt Sanity having their first televised match on the main roster becoming a loss? I know it's not a singles loss, but it still seems to me that that's a good way to stop momentum, is to give them a loss of some kind.
I agree, but here's where I'm going to go with it. I think since it was unknown that the Usos were going to come out and it was a last-minute thrown-together match, you can have Sandy win next week. And depending on how long Shinsuke's out, letting these 6 go in an Extreme Rules match, at Extreme Rules, just letting them be in a 6-man tornado tag or whatever where everything's legal. We saw the 3 Sandy members at War Games. Mm-hmm. We know they can go. We know Jeff Hardy's a daredevil.
Yeah.
And the Usos, when they're not in the spotlight, they want that spotlight. Like, they kill it every time. The Hardys and the Usos win. Killian Dane looks really, really strong in this match, which is one thing I really wanted to point out.
Okay.
And I know they're building Eric Young as a member, but Killian Dane's the one to look out for in that group.
It'll be interesting to see how they decide to use Eric Young, just because in TNA, I know we don't talk about Impact very often, but they were pushing Eric Young as the Daniel Bryan of that brand and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see.
Speak for yourself. I'm about to watch TNA as soon as we're done with, or Impact as soon as we're done with this.
GWF. Who know? We don't know what it's called anymore. It's just something. The Owl.
We don't.
The Owl Show.
So we get Becky Lynch backstage in a back and forth with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, who Mandy Rose looks awesome as always, and it leads to Becky and Sonya, with Becky picking up another win. So that's 2 wins in a row, looking good at Money in the Bank as well. She won last week against the Billie Kay of the Iconics. So is Becky gonna be Carmella's next feud after Asuka, because Becky and James Ellsworth have some unfinished business?
So who's the women's match at the next pay-per-view? Is it going to be Carmella against Asuka again?
So next week we have James Ellsworth versus Asuka announced by Paige, which great promo, which I'm going to talk about later when we get to that. But I think they're going to put Carmella over, and just because Becky and James Ellsworth, the week before he got released the first time, his last match was with Becky Lynch.
So that'd be interesting to see how they play that.
And our hardcore fans know on the indie scene, James Ellsworth had an intergender title, which he was defending against women, men, all comers. He was doing a great job. He's a hilarious guy. He's living the dream. Good for him, you know?
Yeah, he's doing exactly what he needs to stay over. And he has the ability to stay in this business for a long time because he has a decent enough gimmick where he's a comic relief, but he's a good comic relief where you don't just think of him as an idiot. So I think that works for him really well.
So, with Becky Lynch, I want to talk about her finisher. Like, do you like the disarmer? Because I know we're talking about submission, some of them looking not so great. I don't think the disarmer looks that great, I like Becky.
I'll be honest. If you were to ask me exactly what the disarmer looks like, is it just an armbar? Because I don't think I can think of it off the top of my head.
It's where she's got the arm in a camel clutch, basically. Like, she's sitting with both legs over the arm, and she's pulling back on it.
Yeah, no, that one looks like a rest hold. To me,
yeah, I like Tommaso Ciampa's version of it better, where he grabs the arm and twists over to the other side. I think that looks pretty cool.
Becky Lynch is a character that doesn't need a submission finish. She needs a hard-hitting finish. She needs a running knee or something that's really hard in the face and stuff like that. A knockout finish, not a submission finish, in my opinion. She's just too good of a wrestler to give her a submission move right now. Not that she's not a good technical wrestler. She just has a lot more to offer, I think, in my opinion.
All right. We're not usually going to talk about backstage promos that are only a minute long, but this one was hilarious. It was James Ellsworth with Ty Dillinger. James Ellsworth's like throwing up to 10, and he's like, Ty, what do you think of me? And Ty like puts down all of his fingers and leaves it with a 1, and the camera cuts off, but James Ellsworth's like, oh, 1 being the best. And it was really funny. Like, I really wish they do something with Ty Dillinger. Like, man, I really like him. I'm going to do a superstar spotlight on him in a couple of weeks on a fantasy booking on him. So we get back, and it's a promo from Selena and Andrade. Selena saying they hurt Sin Cara. Is that why they're not getting competition? And Sin Cara and Andrade went at a live event that I went to like a month ago, and they tore the house down, dude. They stole the show. And they know each other from way back. And that's the cool thing about Sin Cara with someone who is Hispanic in a mask, is like he can call the whole match and we won't know because his mouthpiece is covered in the mask.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they've kept him around so long, you know?
Well, and they need somebody like him without Rey Mysterio. Obviously, they need to have a masked wrestler, a masked luchador and stuff like that. And I think that Sin Cara gets a really bad rap. Let's be honest. Like, he's not a bad worker by any stretch. Even this version of Sin Cara or the first version of Sin Cara, they've translated the mask over to Hunico, who is now Sin Cara and stuff. But at the same time, like, he's not. We give him way too much heat than he actually deserves. But I think that...
And he can go.
Yeah.
We all heard the story about him beating up Simon Gotch backstage when Jericho told Simon Gotch, don't piss off Hunico. And Simon Gotch pissed off Hunico and got beat with a Coke can. So...
He's legit. He's legit. Don't mess with him. Don't mess with him. He'll mess you up.
right? And my favorite part of the show, we come back, James Ellsworth's in the ring, and he's just talking about how Asuka's scared of him, and he's calling out Asuka, and Paige comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you know Asuka's not here right now. And James Ellsworth, being the sly dog he is like, I know why you're out here, Paige. You want to go on a date with me. And Paige plays it off great. She, like, rubs his arm, puts the finger over the lips, and she's like, we'll go on a date next week. But our date is going to be you facing Asuka next week. So we're going to get Asuka versus James Ellsworth next week. How do you feel about this?
I think it'll be a fun thing. I don't think it's going to hurt either one of them because, like I said, he's comic relief, so it's going to be fine for his favor, and he's going to lose it. It's going to be basically like a squash type match, obviously, but at the same time, it's going to be entertaining, and it's going to be entertaining in a way that I think is going to be worth watching.
So from this, we go to our main event. But before we get to our main event, I like how SmackDown has four decent to great matches and a couple of promos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very similar to the NXT style.
Yes.
And that's why I prefer it overall.
Well, and
like,
it's nice that it's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much
but
more digestible.
I love when Raw has, like, 5 matches and promos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 5 good matches and promos. We can live with that. It's easy to watch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we get Daniel Bryan and Luke Harper. Great match. Luke Harper, in my opinion, one of the most underrated talents on the roster.
So good.
Not only in my opinion. You remember when he got in trouble because Chris Jericho and Seth Rollins and all the guys were wearing the Luke Harper T-shirt,
mm-hmm.
and they took a photo with him?
Yeah.
When he was on the Wyatt family.
He should be more over.
Very...
He's I think he's almost hurt by I don't mind Rowan or anything like that, but Luke Harper can be a single star. Like, I think that we're waiting for that moment where he's going to finally just kind of break out on his own and do his own thing and stuff, because I think he could do it. He's athletic. He's a big guy. He's very reminiscent of, like, the good big guys, right? Like, trying to think, like, Kevin Nash, not a wonderful big guy or anything like that, but, I mean, Undertaker. I mean, when you talk about big guys and really good wrestlers, mm-hmm. I would say that it's far in between the really, really good ones, and obviously Undertaker is the one that's the most talked about and should be the most talked about. But Luke Harper, I think, has the ability to do that because he doesn't look like a bumbling idiot, which so many big guys do. Like Titus O'Neil, I really do like Titus O'Neil, and I think he gets a bad rap too sometimes. But he's clumsy, right? Like, and I think sometimes these big guys are just clumsy because of their size. And I think Luke Harper can avoid that because he's legitimately athletic, in my opinion.
Big Cass was the same way before they let him go. I thought he was very clumsy in the ring.
Yes, I never believed Big Cass to be like a legitimate wrestling star. And I know that he got released for a multitude of other reasons, but I think beyond all those reasons, one of them is, you know what? We don't really need you, right? Like Drew McIntyre is another great big guy. And I know he's not like 7'5" or some crazy, but he's a huge man. And he does it. He's a great athlete, Drew McIntyre.
And that's another thing, like, I've noticed is with guys like Luke Harper, one of my favorite matches was Luke Harper and Dolph Ziggler a couple years ago in the ladder match.
Yes.
Like, they were awesome. Yeah, Daniel Bryan and Luke Harper, you know you're going to get a great match. We got a great match.
And then
Daniel Bryan hooks the yes lock.
Yes.
Eric Rowan comes in. And do you want to take it? Because we got a comeback from another big man.
Yeah, I was so happy to see Kane come back and see him save his old-time buddy and stuff like that. I thought that was a really cool way to bring him back, and the time was right. He did not win his election in Tennessee, so obviously he needs something to do, and they have just the right thing to do. There is one problem with this. We now know why the Bludgeon Brothers won the title. It's because they're going to lose the title, which is kind of depressing to think like, oh, I really thought they were going to push these guys to be really big tag team division stars, and they're not. They only gave them the title so that the people that lost it against Daniel Bryan and Kane was not going to hurt them too much, because it's not going to hurt the Bludgeon Brothers all that much. It would hurt another team, I think, a little bit more, especially coming so quickly to lose the title and stuff like that.
Like if it was the Good Brothers with it, like Gallows and Anderson, it would hurt them more if they were heel.
Yeah, because they need they need a push already.
Then does Team Hell No lose it to Sanity? Because Kane won the primary. His other election is later in the year, from what I know, right?
Oh, he won
it? He won his election.
Oh, I thought he lost
he
it.
Won on... He won on a runoff. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I was
okay.
reading. Like
Oh, then I'm wrong on my
he won.
facts. Sorry. Interesting. So I thought it was poor booking that they call them Team Hell No again. I don't like that. I think they need to be called Team Hell Yeah. The whole reason they were called Hell No was because Daniel was in his no stage and now he's in his yes stage. So they need to say Team Hell Yeah. I think would be such and then they could do some fun stuff like with a Stone Cold callback or something like that would be fun if they change the name up a little bit because they're both going to be faces now.
And Eli Drake just re-signed with Impact. Like if he came with a dummy, yeah, like it could have. Oh, like sorry, I'm just in my own world right now, but man, it would be. Yeah, I agree. Team Hell maybe. Team Hell maybe.
Team Hell maybe. We're not quite sure how we feel right now.
But I do think Team Hell No is going to get the title, and
Yep.
they're going to put over Sanity. They're going to be the ones to put over Sanity.
Much bigger rub to win against Daniel Bryan and Kane than it is over the Bludgeon Brothers, so it's a good way to push Sanity in that regard. Once again, doesn't make sense to have Sanity lose the match that they lost this time on SmackDown, obviously. So we're going to get into NXT, but before we get into NXT, there's a star on NXT that you want to talk about a little bit. Give us your mushy eyes for a minute.
Dude, I'm in love with Bianca Belair. Her gimmick is the EST of NXT, meaning she's the best, the fastest, the strongest, the greatest, the best. Every word that ends in EST, that's not bad. And I am in love. Unfortunately, she just married.
So your chances are.
She just married Montez Ford of the Street Profits, who has a beautiful frog splash, by the way. One of the nicest frog splashes I've ever seen.
You were so close to being in the running, too, I'm sure.
I was. I'm pretty sure if things didn't work out, I would have been next in line. But, dude, this girl's power. Like, I sent you some highlights. And she has that Bobby Lashley suplex strength.
But she does it better. She does it dang near better than Bobby Lashley.
And then she'll use her hair as a weapon because she's got a big ponytail. She'll start whipping people with the hair, and it's not illegal.
Yeah, because it's a part of her body. It's just like throwing a fist. You know, it's great. I love how they let her just kind of go all hog wild with it and stuff like that. They really give her a good amount of play for her gimmick, and they let her really enjoy what she's doing, I feel.
And NXT was missing someone who had that appeal where they were a badass heel female.
Yeah.
So the crowd would still like them after Sasha Banks left and after Becky left. You know, like they didn't have to badass that could still get over with the crowd. And I think Bianca Belair is going to be that because Shayna Baszler is a complete heel. Like we all know that now. So you definitely have that gray area with Bianca Belair to where she can challenge and then she could also just beat people up.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that the way they're pushing, what's her name? The one that has the title right now. What's her name again?
Shayna Baszler?
Shayna Baszler. She's good. She's very good, but they gave her a push way too quickly, so it soured the crowd a little bit too much. And I think the reason why they're giving her such a push is because they want her to get on the main roster so that she can go against Ronda, because they're both MMA stars and stuff like that.
I think she's the next female we saw with Asuka and Ember that doesn't challenge for the title again. She just loses the title, and the next day she's on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, they're just doing it to give her a name, and then I think that they're going to give Blanca the title, and it's going to give her some actual strength in it. I think it'll be a good moment for the crowd to get behind and stuff too. So, do you want to go into NXT a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. You want to start us off with that because I took the lead on SmackDown?
Yes. So the show opens up with a pretty good promo from Aleister Black, who can do no wrong in my book. Even though his promos are not quite there, they're really close to being really good, but they're not quite there. And then he gets interrupted by Ciampa, which I thought was interesting because the point of this was not to make a match happen tomorrow. The point is to see a match way down the road because, as we'll see later on, we do get to see from Johnny wrestling, and there's furthering the feud between him and Ciampa and there. So this promo was not to create a match happening next week. It's to create a match happening in the near future to give him the leeway to get in there, basically.
And I want to ask you a question, and you might have to think about this because we didn't go over this in the quick run we did before.
Yeah.
But is Ciampa the best heel we've had in 10 years?
Damn close. I mean, I love that he goes by the Black Heart just because it reminisces me of Owen Hart, and I love Owen Hart, obviously, but like he really plays that heel part so well. We didn't talk about, the repercussions of NXT TakeOver or anything like that, but what an amazing match. What a 5-star, just classic in my opinion. And the fact that He's still doing what he's doing so well and at the top level of his game. Like, he is the best heel in the world right now, and no one else touches him, in my opinion. He's
Like
perfect.
us smart fans, like everyone who's probably watching this knows this. Him and Gargano are roommates. Like them and their wives live together, and they're still making us believe that these guys hate one another.
Oh man, I feel like they're gonna kill each other every time. And then, we didn't, like I said, we didn't talk about NXT, but like the fact that they ripped apart the ring and they
The
didn't
wedding
use
ring,
it.
spit on it, throw it in the crowd.
I'm talking about the ring, the actual apron from the ring. They tore it off so they could expose the hardwood and stuff, and they didn't use that till the very end of the match. Was one of the absolute best storytelling moments in professional wrestling. Like, I thought their first match, the unsanctioned match that they had where they were sitting side by side and Ciampa still goes for the throw, and then Johnny catches it and reverses it and everything. Like, that was amazing. This tops that, in my opinion, and that was tough to do, but that was amazing. That was so perfect story writing in the way that they did it. After this promo is done with, we go into a match with Kona Reeves versus Maxo Verdo. I don't know who Maxo Verdo is. Is he just a jobber on NXT?
They are really high on Kona Reeves from what I've been reading. Like, I've seen some comparisons to him and The Rock, and I don't see it just because he's Hawaiian. The Rock Samoan, guys. Like, it's different.
And even that even plays into his move, because the match is a good match, and they gave both guys enough time to show off their style and stuff like that. There's some good heel work in the ring, I thought, by Kona. I thought he did a very good job, and you can tell that he's still green, but there's room for improvement, and I think that he has the ability to improve. This was a over-glorified squash match that gave him the ability to come from behind and show that he has a lot of power. He hits a big boot that looks really poor and not very good, and then he hits what they call the Hawaiian drop, which is just a Samoan drop. Like, I hate when they just rename a transition move or a move that everybody does just to make it a finisher, because that's just dumb, in my opinion. I gave this match 2 stars because I thought it was a good match. It showed off offense and defense, and it gave him the room to grow as a heel.
What I would like to see is, since he doesn't drop them on their back, he drops them on their face, is maybe if he does like a little power lift where he just sends them flying onto their face or something to make it a little different.
That'd be good.
But one thing I've noticed about NXT stars, and you see it with the guys that get called up, like the Samoa Joes, the Baron Corbins, and I am not one to praise Baron Corbin, but their trash talking for the heels is very on point.
Oh yeah, much
Tommaso,
better.
Kona, like EC3, Velveteen, like their trash talking, that alone gives the match half a star, in my opinion.
Yeah, even in the middle of the match when he first starts off, he says, "I know, I'm better than you. They know I'm better than you. Everyone knows I'm," and it's just great stuff from Kona. I thought that was very well done. This goes directly into another match with Candice LeRae, okay. Versus
Johnny's wife.
Yeah, Johnny's wife versus Lacey Evans, who I was not very familiar with because I don't watch the product quite often enough. This was another really good match. Shows off the offense from both ladies. They can both work very well with each other. The chemistry is definitely there. This match was definitely there to show off Candice without that she can get hurt in the middle of the match with like the shoulder injury that happens in it, and she can still come back. This is a classic baby face come back from behind moment and hit her finisher to win it. I thought
they're booking her as a female Johnny, like,
oh yeah, for sure,
body parts getting attacked. And one thing I do want to say, like, I've watched Lacey Evans, like, like I barely missed a product. I'm a nerd, but Lacey Evans to me is giving me too much of a wannabe Charlotte vibe. Like, I want to see something different in her game.
I could see that a little bit. This match ended with a top rope or a middle rope DDT, kind of like a tornado style DDT, but she leapt onto him, so like a springboard DDT, into a kill switch, which I thought was bizarre, and then a lion salt for the win. So she hit 3 really big power moves just to beat her, which I thought was not needed. They pushed her a little bit too hard in that regard, because they should have just went from the middle rope springboard DDT into the lion salt, and they did not need the kill switch, because the kill switch is a finisher. Like, that is a legitimate finishing move right there. It needs to be, at least.
What I do like about it is Lacey had the height and the weight advantage on her, so it does make it look like it makes Lacey look stronger. And for down the line, like, they can make both of those her finishers to like where if one match she's like, let's say for example she's facing Bianca Belair or Shayna Blazer and they're working on the ribs, she doesn't have to hit the line so she can hit the kill switch, you know?
Yeah, I thought they didn't give the kill switch the name the kill switch, obviously, and then they also don't have a name for it. They did have a name for her lion salt, but I don't remember quite what it is. Do you know what they call her lion salt?
I do not remember. If you want, I can Wikipedia it.
No, it's no big deal. I don't even know if they have a name for it, honestly. But I gave this match 2 stars as well. It was a very good match. There was nothing wrong with it. It was just a glorified squash match to a point, too. It was just to be a babyface win. That's all it was. So we had the heel win that we knew was going to win. We had the babyface win that we kind of knew was probably going to win as well. And then we go into a segment with Johnny Wrestling.
Before we start there, how much better is the women's booking on NXT than the main roster?
So much better, just miles above it. They let these women have these great matches. They give them good promos. They even interview her a little bit afterwards, and they like do the thing where they're like, "What do you think about your husband and all this problem?" And she's like, "I don't care about that stuff. I'm gonna worry about my dream, and he's gonna do his thing." And I thought that was a nice way to just say like, you know what, we're done with the. I know we're synonymous with the two, but we're gonna break them up, and we're gonna let them each do their own thing.
Like the feud between Tommaso and Gargano is so such a blood feud that you don't need the wife in it anymore. Like,
no,
he can talk crap about the wife and she doesn't have to be on camera. Like, we all know they're married, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We know who each one of these people are. You don't have to be smart, Mark, to understand that or anything, so that's fine. So we go to a segment with Johnny Wrestling to keep the feud going with Ciampa. He says that he wants to do it again. He said that he has one win. He has one win. We need to finish this off already. So we know that there's going to be a big blow-off match that's eventually going to come. I would be surprised if they give Ciampa the belt and let that happen, just because I don't see that to be the future, though WWE has proved me wrong many times, so I could be completely wrong. Also...
Can I play devil's advocate with you really quick?
Yeah.
So let's say Tommaso does lose the belt at the next or Tommaso gets the belt at the next takeover, and they build this to whatever the one after that is, to Rumble Takeover. What could happen is, since they did announce the NXT UK show, Aleister Black could be more prominent on that because he is
European,
from,
Dutch. He's Dutch, I believe, is what he is.
Dutch or
And then just a personal pet peeve, I don't like how everyone's like, I'm going to go talk to Mr. Regal, and I'm going to go and tell him that I want another match. Like, everyone kept calling William Regal Mr. Regal, and I thought that sounded like such old man talk. Like, I didn't care for that at all.
But he's a legend, and they're all students.
And I know that's the case, but just the way that they made it sounds like, I'm going to go talk to the principal. I'm going to go tell the principal what you're doing. Like, and I just didn't like that at all. I thought that was dumb.
It's like whenever Screech would have a problem with, like, Jack Morris about to do something stupid on Saved by the Bell. I got to tell Mr. Belding, guys.
What are you talking? No Saved by the Bell references here. None. I'm going to shut. No, don't do that.
Hey, Mr. Belding is a big wrestling fan.
All right. And then we go into Mustache Mountain for the main event versus Carl and Dave. Carl and Dave, they get jumped by the Undisputed Era, and there is now a match that's going to take place, and out of nowhere comes the one and only Ricochet to save the day. He does this whole little flip thing and does the superhero stance and everything.
Before we get into this match, I know we didn't touch on TakeOver, but great match by Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus the Undisputed Era. Like, I knew Danny Burch and Oney weren't going to win, but man, there were times where I believed it.
How surprised were you that they decided to take the belts from Undisputed and give it to Mustache Mountain? Like, I don't know if that was necessary. Why do you think they went ahead and did that?
You gotta hype something to make the people go back and watch the UK show if they're not like smart fans, you know?
Okay.
So I understand what they did. I could see Mustache Mountain losing it next pay-per-view, or next takeover, sorry. But you have to do something so you can get the crowd to go back and watch it. Everything's on the network now.
Yeah.
They don't care when you watch it. You just need to watch it.
Yeah, so different the way that we consume wrestling media. So Undisputed Era jumps those two. We have a 3-on-3 match now with Mustache Mountain and Ricochet versus the Undisputed Era with Adam Cole, baby, And it's a very wow, what a good exhibition match. Everyone was showing off everything that they had. This was obviously the best match in the night, but that's, every match was good. This one was just obviously better. There's a lot of fake finishes. There's good heel work from everybody. And then the heels win, which I thought they did a very good job with this, because Ricochet hits his 630 move that he does off the top rope and looks absolutely stunning. Then he gets
and I thought it was over. I thought it would have been over there, but you get O'Reilly to pull him out.
Yes, exactly. Then he gets pulled out of the ring. Ricochet jumps out of the ring, and then comes what's his name, Roderick Strong, and he hits him with this beautiful looking drop suplex onto the apron, just absolutely devastating looking. Ricochet goes back in. Adam Cole gets the pin on him. The match means nothing. This will help nobody's feud for the most part with the Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era. It lets the heels.
What if we get Ricochet and Adam Cole for the North American Championship?
We should
build to that.
We should. That'd be very good. I don't mean it means nothing in the grand scheme. I mean it means nothing for the show for the most part.
Yeah.
But it allows the heels to win while keeping the faces looking strong. It's a great match. It's the best of the show. It gets 3.5 stars from me personally. It was a good way to end the night too. An hour of watching NXT, you get at least one stunning match and then some really good promo work throughout the entire show as well. So I thought NXT was a very fun watch this week.
Yeah, NXT was awesome this week. 1 hour, it's very easy to consume. If you don't watch NXT, you guys need to get on it. Especially if you're complaining about how long the product is, go watch 1 hour of NXT.
Yeah, you'll remember why you like wrestling for sure, because there's great work from everybody involved, promo-wise and match-wise, which is what I watch professional wrestling for. I like the storylines and I like how they build and stuff like that, but I'm so much more into the matches and the stories that a match will tell over what everything building up or afterwards is going to display on it personally. So I was really happy to see how they decided to go with it. So that covers SmackDown and NXT. So let's talk about our product that we have going here for the Ringside. Whoops. Got to get rid of that. That showed up inappropriately. Let's talk about the product of the Ringside Hookah podcast and what our plans are moving forward. We want to make sure that we have content coming up for you guys. You already have some shows in the book that you're going to be doing on Saturdays. Is that correct?
Yeah, every Saturday I will be doing a fantasy booking of talent that is being underused or not used at all in some cases. This Saturday will be Mike Kanellis, who we haven't seen since his feud with Sami Zayn.
Yep. That'll be a good one to watch, because they could do some fun stuff with him and his wife if she's deciding to come back anytime soon. I know they had a baby, so not sure when that's going to happen exactly, but
he should have debuted on NXT, man. I know he's been around the world, but he should have debuted on NXT.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have gone straight to the main roster.
That would have helped him, I think. I'm going to be doing a show on Monday. I don't want to say every single Monday, but on some Mondays throughout the months and stuff, I'm going to be doing a Superstar Spotlight, where I'm going to take one of my favorite wrestlers and talk about their history a little bit, show off some stuff from them, and talk about my favorite matches with them. The very first wrestler that I'm going to do is X-Pac, actually, Sean Waltman.
Ew.
No, don't say that. I love X-Pac. I love the Kid, Lightning Kid, all those great names that he's gone through over the years. That's just some of the fun stuff that we have planned here for the Ringside Hookah podcast. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you know the moment that we put up new content. And then we're also going to be doing some other stuff, right?
Yeah, what we're probably going to do is, since the product is so many hours, what we're probably going to do is once a month, the week before a pay-per-view, just wrap everything together and give you our pay-per-view preview and do an NXT preview on that if it's a takeover weekend, which this next one isn't a takeover weekend. But I'm sure me and Matt watch enough NXT to where we'll probably throw 5 or 10 minutes of what's going on in NXT just to fill you guys in.
Yeah, because it is important, the stuff that happens there. They use it so often to build up storylines that are going to happen in the future and stuff like that, so it's always important to know about. Our next pay-per-view that we have coming on is going to be Extreme Rules, which is a fan favorite, I would say. I mean, they usually do a very good job with Extreme Rules. There's a lot of gimmicks that happen throughout the matches and stuff, but they're usually well done for the most part.
It's either really good or really bad. That's what I've noticed. We had a couple of great ones and a really bad one last year, and
which means we should have a good one this year, which is exciting, because I think the matches that we have building up for it are going to be good. I'm excited to see Daniel Bryan and Kane come back and win the titles. I'm sure he's going to. Rusev is going to be awesome in this match against AJ Styles.
If we get that 6-man tag with Usos, Hardy, and Sanity, if they let them go all out,
that'd be fun.
We'll get tables, ladders. Oh my! My boy Roman. It looks like he's going to be facing Bobby Lashley, which that's pick your poison right there, right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm choking already. I'm surprised that shirt that you're wearing isn't like pushing against you, like it's like moving you out of the way or something. I don't know.
Well, I didn't get it directly from Vince McMahon, you know.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I got it from the WWE shop, so
he would have thrown it at you, and you would have got pushed back or something. Who knows? All right, well, this has been the Ringside Hookah Podcast, talking about our takes of Smackdown and NXT for this episode. We'll have some more content coming up, so make sure you let us know some stuff that you'd maybe like to see in the future. Your thoughts on the shows as well. Do you watch Smackdown every week? Do you watch NXT every week? What are your guys' opinions and of the wrestlers and the storylines that are happening right now? Anything else to say, Moise?
No, just I think next video will be the video I release on Saturday, and the one you're planning on releasing on Monday, correct?
Yes, I believe so. So until next time, this has been the bad guy Matt with the man, the myth, the Moise, and it's still real to us, damn it. Bye.
It is still real to us.